G'day Spurs fans, it's Paul the Hotspur hippie here, the only psychedelic soccer show on the internet. And it's only one more sleep until we face the mighty Roy Hodgson-led Crystal Palace. I'm trying to talk them up, but I think we're going to win. But you know, football's funny. When you think you're going to win, that's when it don't happen sometimes. But I'm pretty confident. Just before I get on to the game, I just saw an interesting headline there when I was getting my phone ready, and it was Arsenal face anxious wait over Man City points deduction because of the, you know, Man City potentially breaching the Premier League rules. And I'm thinking, why just Arsenal? What about Tottenham? We're at the top of the table. Who cares what Arsenal think? They're down below us. And the Premier League, I don't know. They seem to be pulling the trigger more quickly on Everton than Manchester City. So it's all a bit odd at the moment. Anyway, that's other teams. Who cares about them? It's all about Tottenham Hotspur, by far the greatest football team the world has ever seen. I'll just get some trees. Today I'm in Wentworth Park, I think. So I don't know where I am. Somewhere near the city. I was just on a United Spurs of America there doing a stream with Jacob, and it seems like one of the discussion points for the game tomorrow is Yves Bissouma. Do you, because he's under threat of further suspensions if he gets another yellow card. So if that were to happen tomorrow against Crystal Palace, then he would be out for the Chelsea game, which I think it seems to be people are sort of more scared about playing Chelsea than Crystal Palace. Look, I mean, I don't know what Ange will do. I mean, I think Pierre-Emile Højbjerg did have a very good game last week. So if Pierre starts, I think it would be more to reward him for his performance last game. But in all honesty, I can't see it. And I think you always have to try and play your best team. For example, if you try and be clever in football, sometimes it doesn't work out. Big example I can give you of that is the World Cup, not the last one, but the one before, where England, if they finished second in their group stage, had an easier run to the final, and so that's what they did, and it didn't work because I think, you know, not playing up to your full capacity, that gets in your head. So if we chose not to play Bissouma, I mean, this is a scenario that could happen. If we're all talking scenarios here, if we chose to rest Bissouma for that risk of a yellow card, and then he gets injured in training during the week and he's not playing for Chelsea anyway, so I'd be playing him. And look, if he gets a yellow card, he gets a yellow card. He's got to be, I suppose he's got to have that mindset of trying to think that he's, you know, it's almost like he's starting the game with a yellow card. But I think he's going to last quite a few games, isn't it? 13 games before you get the amnesty. So it's still 4 games that Yves has to last without getting another yellow, and I can't see that happening. And really, I wouldn't want the guy to change the way he plays. I think that's an acceptable risk. Because he's so good. I'd rather see him play the way he's playing, with a bit of freedom and elan, than try and be conservative. So I'd be playing him and just take the consequences. We might get away with it. He might not get a yellow. He might be fine for Chelsea. He might not. But you know, we're playing Crystal Palace tomorrow. We're not having a week's break, and you know, we have actually got a game, and I think we've got to take it seriously. We can't assume that you know, Crystal Palace are easier to beat than Chelsea. I haven't looked at the league table for a bit actually, because you know, I don't look at all the way down there. My eyesight isn't that good, so I don't know. I think Chelsea and Crystal Palace, they're in the same neck of the woods. They're in the same neighbourhood, aren't they? While we're in the rarefied air of the sky at the moment. So I think that's what we do. Now, the other question that was coming up, which was an interesting one, was What about left back? Udogie apparently might have a bit of a knock. If that's the case, would you play Ben Davies or Emerson Royale? And I thought, as far as left back goes, I think Emerson Royale, that was a really pleasant surprise for me out of the Fulham game. Actually, I thought defensively Royale was pretty good. Well, put it this way, I think he was better than Ben Davies would have been. Obviously he's got his limitations up front, but I think Davies is more limited. Davies will tend to get the ball, stop just sort of the halfway line, and then turn inside because he hasn't quite got the legs to take it all the way up there. Whereas I think at least Emo can do that. It's just the quality of his last bit that isn't as good. But I mean, neither of them are as good compared to Udogie. Now, I just also watched Ange's press conference. Maybe I'll go around this way, you can see my face. Was I just silhouette the whole video? Oh, well, that's life, eh? Ange's press conference, and it was quite refreshing to hear him. He was asked where the Tottenham need to improve, and he said everywhere, which is good. But it's up front. This is what Ange is saying, up front. He said our defence is great, and it really is. Oh, it's such a turnaround, isn't it, from last year? So our defence is great. And he's saying that the thing is, the forwards aren't quite as fluent as they could be. They're not kind of reading each other's minds. I'm paraphrasing here. But the thing that's getting us goals is because they're just so good anyway. So for all these people that are saying, maybe Man City are going to click, Arsenal are going to click, Liverpool are going to click. Well, what about Spurs? We haven't even clicked properly. And we're still, winning most games 2-0. So, could this be one of the, I'm just wondering, Ange is pretty good with his words, as I don't need to tell you that. I think the forwards would have been extra motivated to get that happening during training these few days. As it picks up a bit of wind, hope that doesn't come through too much. I'm trying to rotate. But I've been saying it a while, because that's been my feeling as well, is that all those chances we're missing in games here and there, sooner or later it's gonna happen better than it has been. And when that does happen, we're gonna absolutely start destroying teams. It's not, for me, it's not a question of if that will happen, it's just when it will happen, because this is what Ange eventually ends up succeeding with at his football teams. Complete domination, not sitting there biting your nails all game, which is why when I was watching him manage Yokohama, especially Celtic, the party atmosphere at Celtic was incredible, because the fans it's almost like as far as football goes, it was the least pressure they could have felt. They weren't just nicking games, they were smashing teams. So that's going to be fun for our fans, and hopefully they'll have a great time at Selhurst Park. They still play at Selhurst Park. They haven't sort of moved somewhere. They're not sharing with Charlton or anything like that, or the Quick Fit Euro Stadium, or I don't know. I think it's Selhurst Park. And it'd be great to put 5 or 6 past them, because I just want to see Simon Jordan cry a little bit and whinge, because he's not giving us any credit. Jim White, to his credit, is, because he knows what Ange can do. Bit by bit, people are starting to come over, but not in any great hordes. I saw Ali McCoy say Spurs are not going to win the league because we haven't got a striker. Well, I mean, I don't know if he's been watching Son Heung-min many times, but he seems pretty good in the position he's playing to me at the moment. But I like Ali McCoy, even though he's a Rangers guy. He's quite a funny dude. He's always got some funny Paul Gascoigne stories from Gascoigne's time at Rangers. I'm just trying to think before I go, any other meat in Ange's press conference. Yeah, he was asked, Roy Hodgson's 74. Are you still going to be managing when you're 74? And he didn't rule it out, but he said he might be on a beach on a Greek island watching football. Oh dear, oh dear. But it's funny that during these press conferences, I've said it before, but I did have a text from a mate of mine who saw it as well, and it's the same sort of feeling I have, that almost more than any other manager, I mean almost more than some anyway, when it's almost like the press gallery are giving Ange quite a bit of respect and space, and they're they're listening to what he has to say. You can hear a pin drop when he's talking about something, and they're not necessarily giving him softball questions. He had some questions before the Fulham game which were not football related. I won't go into that, but I think he dealt with them very well. So it doesn't matter what you throw at Ange, he'll just deal with it and get on with it. And I like the way that he's always giving good answers, proper honest answers. He's not talking in riddles and conundrums. About our performance last week. I mean, I'm like I said yesterday, I'm just a dumb fan. I thought we did all right, but he obviously knows what he's doing. So it looks like he's building up. He's like the man of the moment over in the UK at the moment, which is I'm really happy for the guy. Really happy for the guy, because he has done it the long way round. Sort of trying to make comparisons between him and Roy Hodgson's career, and it's similar and not similar. But Roy Hodgson had to leave England to make his mark, and he went round the traps and doing work in Switzerland, places like that, before getting back into the Premier League. And Ange has had to work his socks off, and he's getting just reward at the moment. And we at Tottenham Hotspur are the beneficiaries. So the kickoff tomorrow morning is at 6 o'clock. I'm not going to be doing a build-up on the Irish Hotspur. But I will be doing the one on We Are Tottenham TV, because that's at 4:30 AM. I could probably wake up in time for that, and then I'll decide if I'm going to watch it like a lazy person at home, or come into the city and go to the Surrey Hills Hotel, where the Spurs supporters apparently all congregate to watch games. I've never done it, so I might see. I'll see how I feel. But I'm looking forward to it. Everything's still looking up at Tottenham, eh? Peace and love, man. Peace and love. And no, it's not that. I'll do that again, eh? Peace and love, man. Peace and love. How are you, Spurs?